So Ayurveda places the greatest emphasis on the spirit and the subtle body because we have the understanding in our anatomy and physiology that it's the subtle anatomy which is the blueprint for our physical anatomy. So if there's emotional and relational dynamics, we could say it's almost like your light body is misfiring. Maybe it's shooting out colors of black and what have you. It's not like I'm using black like a negative, like where there's a lack of light. So it's like, what I discovered in my own life that I realized I can't be the only one. I can't be the only healer who has been taught that the importance of the physical body is where it's at, and later in life discovers, oh wow, there's this whole other part of us which really needs to be nourished and addressed. And so just like we need to heal our relationship to food and our environment, we need to work on and heal as best as we can our relationship to others, especially those that have the deepest heart connection.
I think there is probably a framework or a blueprint that gets people into the healer path, and some of that requires going off on your own and figuring out your own philosophies, and probably adopting different philosophies from where you were born and raised, things that resonate better with your spirit. So I can see in the healer path there's probably a tendency to isolate, at least for a little while.
Yes.
About the yogis in the caves and things like that.
Yes,
so
yes,
that's kind of part of the path.
Mm-hmm.
And that can definitely put a strain on relationships.
Mm-hmm. And they're both necessary, as you discovered in your own journey,
right,
with yoga.
Right.
So
I like the yogic perspective. There is this aspect of working on yourself and then radiating that state of being, and it can be infectious and alter the consciousness of others around you.
Yes, that's like Buddha and Jesus and any of the greats that we think of, the great spiritual masters, right? That's what they did. It wasn't just to stay in the cave, but to bring it out.
I mean, the subtle anatomy was huge. So I think anyone that's into yoga or even had inkling of an awakening or some sort of energetics moving through their system during their yoga practice could really benefit from the knowledge that you're sharing through this course.
And how to, because Ayurveda really is, they are sister sciences, yoga and Ayurveda. And as we discovered in the program, the Ayurveda is the nurse to the yogi. It is the mother to the yogi that prepares the food, makes sure they get good sleep, make sure they're eating their food, like some sadhus do. So making sure their container, their vessel, which is the container for the light, the container for the moksha, the samadhi experience, which requires having freedom of flow through the subtle channels. And so meaning not blockages, and also that if we think of like your subtle system as the electrical system of your house, making sure that the circuitry is not only flowing freely, and that but also what Ayurveda does, is one of the chief things it does, it helps to build a really thick, we could say a really strong, like the cable, the outer part of the cable, the insulator. Yeah. So that when you're flowing all that through yoga, you're flowing in high prana through your system. But what Ayurveda does is it comes in and it heals up. With some people, when we have the spiritual experience, there can be subtle tears and blockages in the system. We can get overwhelming emotions, we can get insomnia, we can get bursts of anger and these kinds of things. Ayurveda prefers us not to experience any negative experiences ever, but that life should be blissful and beautiful. And especially if we're on the yogic path, it should get increasingly so. But if we leave the Ayurveda behind, what I see with the yogis is the tendency to increase the insomnia due to the increase of the prana through the system, coupled with the decrease of the nourishing component of the body, which Ayurveda provides. So it's really the goal of the yogis, why Ayurveda was even cognized or heard, was to directly sustain the physical container and the strength of the mind, body-mind complex for the yogi to have that samadhi experience.
Click on the link below to connect with the renowned Ayurveda teacher, Traci Webb, to find out if you might be a good fit for our upcoming Ayurveda Life Mastery course, and you'll receive a $100 tuition discount. This online and optionally in-person program begins February 5th.